make lots of money. No skin off my back.
No skinner off my back. The camera pans across to a group of 4 figures standing in a dimly lit corner of the Salt Circle. Commander Darren Spider, Baroness Berry the Veil, Beef Wellington and HAMM are brandishing their weapons and looking determined.
We need to find out who is behind this attack and bring them to justice.
Meow nods. I agree. We can't let our guard down. Meow.
Well, I, Beef Wellington, think we will do whatever it takes to protect our circle.
Our primary objective is to safeguard the Salt Circle and its inhabitants. Suddenly, Drake appears with a letter.
Let's have some information that could help. Drake is handing you the letter, Baroness Berry the Veil.
Meow. The schools are fine. I am going to read you all the letter. Meow.
No, I'll read it. This is a threat from the Dark Circle. They are the ones behind the attack.
I knew it. My jaw is clenched. The Dark Circle. I knew they were up to something.
With my gritted teeth, I say we can't let them get away with this.
Our protocol dictates that we take immediate action to neutralize the threat. Meow. Then let's get to work, Meow. We'll find the Dark Circle and put a stop to their plans once and for all.
Nod, nod, nod.
Nod.
The tension is rising in this room as they prepare to take on the Dark Circle.
And protect the Salt Circle.
Keep that to yourself, Drake. Fade out. Do you want to do the name of the character or the thing that's about them?
The name, as always.
Okay, you've got the easy job today.
Sure.
Go for it.
Willie.
A Scotsman with an aggressive temper.
Willie.
Cousin of Gravedigger Billy.
Willie.
Abusive father.
Willie.
A giant pile of rats.
Willie.
Originally Spanish.
Willie.
Kilt-wearing cheese monkey.
Willie.
Tattoo on his chest that reads I or die.
Willie.
The Aberdeen Strangler ? So we are, if you haven't guessed already, here to talk about Willie, groundskeeper Willie. But first...
We certainly are, but heck is empty and all the devils are here.
We are the antiquarians, Lawrence M. Nightingale and Flimsy Rosewater. Please remain indoors. I'm Lawrence M. Nightingale and I host a podcast. And I have some interesting traits that set me aside from others. For example, I'm allergic to shellfish and have no blood. I also have a strong dislike for cabbage and I claim to be a distant cousin of Bigfoot. In addition to the podcasting, I own a post office and once won a lifetime supply of Red Bull. I'm working through the night. I have access to Reese's Pieces warheads and orange buttons and I'm not afraid of much. Right now I'm working with Shreddies to promote boxes of out-of-date edible products.
Nice, that was all information about me. Here, I'll read some information about you.
Thanks, Flimsy.
Flimsy Rosewater, ribbon aficionado, woven with thick lengthwise fibres, grosgrain provides a bit of elasticity, trimming and edging. Diagonal or zigzag weave synthetic fibres for hemming garments, seam binding ribbon spools, 100-yard rayon, thin and transparent, both lightweight and easy to work with, and its iridescent finish makes an elegant statement. Father Anton, we need you. The sky is gloomy today and the harp echoes.
As litter of dusty tomes in the bowels of the disused stadium of Springfield Park and down the tunnels to the town hall of Leigh.
Employed to put Simpsons files into a spotty archive to haphazardly document the life of Springfield's backwaters and doors.
Haunted by an outside which we can finally acknowledge. Scripture demands.
Thanks to our cousins back over at the MFIMDB for promoting the show. We are the professionals here.
Lawrence.
And again safe from all harm.
Lawrence, please tell me you checked the goddamn circle, the gosh darn circle, early in the morning. Are the 4 angels gathered?
The circle remains intact. The 4 angels have gathered. Sigil, rituals in process. Take 7 steps towards window. Ham, secrets await and well. So it used to just be about characters.
Slide has begun, and the slide will continue. So what about these cast connections? What is it about Willie that connects to some of the other cast people that you may or may not remember?
Yes, groundskeeper Willie, our most popular character so far, possibly, other than
Probably.
Maybe with Mole Man. Death. He sort of, he might be dead. Even from one of these clips, we find out he might be dead. He might be a ghost. It's unlikely. He does not wear glasses. He is heavily connected to the school, along with Doris and whoever else was. Database, Leopold, Barb, but not really. Cool and uncool. Uncool, probably.
Very uncool. But also cool.
Yes, that's happened a few times now. I'll bring that up later as well, but there's something that The Simpsons finds very funny about men in poverty. we'll add poverty to the list, but I would class it as like an uncool poverty, not a cool poverty. He's definitely a mobber. He's always there, and we see him at the front and center in one of the mobs. It's one of his best lines. Oh, it's Mr. Burns, kill it. Bringing back character to annoy Groening? No, but I do believe he wasn't intended to be recurring, because at that point in season 2, I assume nobody was.
No.
Love connections. He's got a few. This is our first castcaster to date or be linked to another castcaster. I think Doris, maybe Moleman and Doris. I don't remember. Who cares?
I care.
We all care. Tapped out and bongo. Yes to both. Special voice. No. Married to Selma? No. Multiple jobs? Yes. Tick. Springfield celebrity? No. And yes to uncool poverty.
I would push back on special voice, I'm pretty sure, as the only Scotsman in Springfield is special.
True. I think special voice means more celebrity.
Oh.
I.e. Barb, Cecil, Raheem, etc. Troy.
I don't know. I just like him. What appeals about Sideshow Willie?
Yes. He's just one of the funniest. He's one of the funniest characters. Him, Milhouse, and Ralph never, even when The Simpsons went through that mediocre period for 15 to 20 years, Willie was one of those characters that still was just funny. Like a lot of the clips we'll see later are kind of clips between like season 15 and 20, some of them, and they're still very funny. So I like that he was one of the constants of The Simpsons, and he is just one of the best side characters on the show.
He certainly is, and I like him a lot. But what rank is he?
This is a good one. What would you say?
I thought about this the other day. He's a B. I think he's a B, a solid B.
I agree. He is a B. He's not had enough episodes to be an A.
Oh, not even close. No.
But he has had more episodes than what a C-lister would. Well, yeah, I think B's a good shout of a character's had like a full episode about themselves.
Has he?
Yeah, he had that, like, we see a clip of it in this, but there's a whole, like, that's another cast connection, actually, that we missed. Sometimes, like, there's a lot of them now, like, I was thinking, like, living with the Simpsons, like, we've had Pinchy and Lionel.
Okay.
Etc. Like, they will just, kind of Roy with Poochie, but just, they will live and be a part of the Simpson household for, like, an episode, and Willie did have one of those.
Splendid. So, biography, then grease me up, woman. Save your strength, lad, there's a whole field for you to resod yet. Sounds like that gopher I caught in my lawnmower. Guess there's some stones in your leaf bag after all. I don't know what the context is for that one. The little fat boy and his family are in trouble. Willie is the groundskeeper and janitor at Springfield Elementary School, lives in a shack on the school premises. He's a Scotsman with an aggressive temper, an unpleasant man, but essentially harmless. Depicted as being incompetent, drunken, slow-witted, and quick to anger. Incompetent surely has to be a Cascas thing.
Yeah, definitely, actually.
It's the one thing we find amusing, and so any character who's slightly incompetent is going to get their own episode.
Oh, yeah. Or a woman who's barely in it.
He has a cousin called Gravedigger Billy, and his cousin. He's a Scottish old believer Presbyterian who hates Easter, and because it is a man-made feast, and his abusive father told him he would never amount to anything in life and be lucky if he grew up to be garbage.
Wow, that's probably from Tapped Out.
Probably. Any facts that you found you want to add?
I'll add the rest of these facts that I found. Just let me read that fact that was a bit up. Willie frames Bart unleashes a giant pie of rats on Springfield Elementary Medieval Festival. Is that from Chatbot? Because I've never seen that.
It's not a pie of rats. It's a pile of rats.
That's less funny.
Maybe it is a pie of rats. No, it is a pie. In the Father, Son, and the Holy Guest Star.
Interesting. An episode I have seen.
Really?
Yeah, I checked it for mods because of the title.
The 21st and last episode of the 16th season.
Yeah, Neeson's in it.
Guest starring Liam Neeson.
The Neeson cast.
To William McDougall. Also known as William Mashord McLavel, G.K. Willington Esquire, and William McMoran, best known as Groundskeeper Willie, 45 years old. Is that true? Any of that?
I'd say it's all guesses. The McDougall thing, possibly, but probably not. He seems to be very surnameless, which also might be a Cascas connection. Disco Stu Poochie, Database, Princess Cashmere,
I repeat,
Raheem, Pinchy.
Pinchy.
Yeah, no, I 45s, I'd say, yeah, between 45 and 55, not like 80 like Sam was, or whatever.
Oh God, no! Oh God, no, Ted. He was apparently in the episode Principal Charming, February the 14th, 1991, season 2. The character was just written as simply being an angry janitor until Dan Castellaneta, is he in the show? He said that he first tried a Spaniard's voice, but it was too. Sam Simon, the director, said too cliched, so he tried a big dumb Swede, which was also rejected. And for his third attempt, he simply used the voice of an angry Scot, which was considered to be the most appropriate for this children's cartoon.
Yeah, and I agree, to be honest, out of those three, that I don't think Willie would have lasted or had the impact if he'd been Spanish or Swedish.
Yeah,
It would have definitely been a wildly different character. I don't think the anger would have come out at all, because that's obviously like a very on the nose.
Are you saying Scottish people are violent?
Yeah, violent and angry, thick. Cut that one out. But yeah, I don't think he would have lasted. And also, he probably, if he'd been Spanish, he would have been apooed by now, probably.
Probably. Recurring joke is that, a bit like Ned, when he rips his shirt off, even though he appears to have a bit of a belly, he's always super muscly once he rips his shirt off. And he described the French as cheese-eating surrender monkeys, which has then been used by multiple other people, but I don't know if it was originally his, especially not the surrender monkeys part.
I think it was, and then I believe a newspaper used it.
Okay.
And that's why other people like Clarkson and Bourdain got hold of it.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. Only for one of them.
Yes, the other one should not rest in peace.
No, should never rest.
Or have peace.
No, I wanted to find peace. Anyway.
He apparently threw his ideas into the Scottish referendum in 2014, where he put a video out at in front of the St Andrews Cross saying, I or die. But in the end, he lost because of Gordon Brown, who was more popular than him.
Yes, I don't think that's accurate, but yeah, I remember that video. I chose to not bother putting that in. I chose to not bother putting any of the "Where is Willie from" in Scotland stuff in, because and it's weird to choose this particular hill, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where he's from in Scotland, and I think that's just an American thing of like they're fascinated. So, but they have no frame of reference. They didn't decide he was from somewhere in Scotland and base things of that specific town around him.
No.
They just use all of Scottish culture, so it doesn't matter where he's from.
Willie's hobbies, as we come to, include videotaping couples in cars. And it's possible that he's a serial killer called the Aberdeen Strangler, which he does not deny when asked.
Yes. He was engaged to Sherry Bobbins until she recovered her eyesight, at which point, in Willie's words, the ugliest man in Glasgow wasn't good enough for her.
And I really like this one. Lisa took a restraining order out against Bart, so he couldn't go to the same school as her. So Willie became Bart's teacher, because Willie's shack is the only place on the school grounds that falls outside all laws of man or God.
Excellent. I think I might have missed a good Willie clip, actually, related to that. I remember Willie saying to Bart, like handing him a book saying, today we're going to be doing like chapters 4 through 9. And then Bart says, but we're already on like chapter 15. And then Willie angrily shoves him the book and then says, then you'll be teaching Willie.
And
who was he based on?
He was based on Angus Crock, a kilt-wearing chef. Willie once told Skinner he'd seen his old father hanged for stealing a pig, and groundskeeper Willie once discovered an oil well because he was trying to bury the school hamster. Springfield fence.
Yeah, the great stuff. He's got a lot of. That's the good thing about Willie as well. Like, he doesn't have a lot of character episodes. He's had like the 1 or 2, but he gives like a lot of. He contradicts himself all the time about his own history, so it makes it very rich. Like, there's a lot of things that Willie says about himself, like kind of the opposite of some of our castcasters, like Raheem and Leopold and like Pinchy especially, where we really had to dig to sort of guess what their lives were like. Willie, we still have to guess what his actual life was like because most of this probably isn't true, but he's given a lot of crazy histories, and then every now and again he will do something crazy like this, where he rescues Bart from a marauding Alaskan timber wolf by wrestling it into submission. Like, he does that and we see him do that, so maybe some of the things he's saying aren't lies.
But enough about that. Enough about that. It is back to our dimly lit salt circle where the inhabitants are gathered, exhausted from a battle against intruding robots that happened off screen. They cuddle together and they focus the power of their 4 angels that takes down the remaining robots. However, Jessica is fatally wounded in the process. I, Beef, placing my hand on your shoulder. We did what we had to do, Niall.
Meow. I will use my powers of wind to reform the circle. Meow. The circle is safe for now, but we need to figure out why they attacked us. Meow. Commander Darren Spider, you're back and covered in cockroach blood and brandishing a spear. Meow.
You, Baroness Berrytheville, you knew it. You knew about them robots. You're a double agent for the extremist.
What? Meow. No, I'm not.
Clip
To be
one.
continued.
Clip one. What is this 3D animation, I ask? A Scottish Simpsons song as a van drives up a dark highway and a door opens and Bart and Dolph are booted out by Willies, I ask?
Yeah, not really a clip. I just like the Scottish Simpsons opening.
Who's kicking them out of the van?
Willie.
Oh, yeah.
This is one of the like newest episodes where Willie takes it's like Bart, Nelson, Dolph, and Martin go on like a trek through the Highlands, but Willie basically leaves at the start and comes back at the end. But I think it's the only time they've spent a lot of time in Scotland. They had like one episode where they spent like 1 or 2 scenes there, but this was like the Simpsons go to Scotland episode basically, or like the Highlands.
Did they do any Wicker Man stuff?
No, and nobody went to a chippy either and couldn't order because of miscommunication.
Clip 1. Season 2, episode 14. This is the debut. Principal Charming. Skinner throws his arms up. You're free to go, he says to Bart. William is there with his rake. It is a green, grass, sunny day. There is a bag of something. Well, you can take it from here, dude. Bart throws the bag of soil at Willie's feet. You'll be back. You haven't seen the last of Willie. A gruff, unformed Scottish accent comes out. He shakes his rake. It is an inauspicious start.
It is. It's kind of a grounded Scottish accent at this point as well. It's just like to say he went in and like tried all these accents and like they were like, yeah, that's the funniest one. He's not like, if Willie said you haven't seen the last of Willie like 4 or 5 seasons later, it would have sounded like groundskeeper Willie and not just a Scottish man, if that makes any sense.
That makes perfect sense. That's exactly what I'd expect him to sound like.
Yes, and I do like he was unplanned to return, yet he said you haven't seen the last of Willie. And that would be true because even like this episode aired in like 1992 or something, and we still haven't seen the last of Willie. So,
that'll remain true until we do see the very last of Willie.
Yeah, season 40, 12.
Episode 90X.
Yes. But yeah, this is a nice setup to what he's going to become. At this point, he's just practical. They just needed a school groundskeeper, and then everything else fell into place. This might be one of the only actor influences we've got though, where if it wasn't for Castellaneta, Willie would have been an entirely different character, maybe.
Yeah.
Like they could have gone to Shearer with this, and he could have been like a gruff sounding, like throaty voiced man like Marvin Monroe, or they could have gone to Azaria, and you know what he would have done with it.
Oh, Hank.
But yeah,
let's just say there'd be no more Willie. We would have seen the last of Willie.
He certainly would around season 28. Yeah, that's a nice way to bring him into things. Simple, easy, not too over the top yet, but that's when it gets good.
It is when it gets good. Over the top is what we like. It's what Willie's all about. Clip 2, season 6, episode 9. Now he appeared a lot in between, of course, but you know he's such a rich character. You had to cherry pick. Willie rings the door. Willie rings the doorbell of Simpson's house. Homer, he says. I find it strange that he knows Homer's name. I love amateur video, and your show is the most amateur video I ever saw. My hobby is secretly videotaping couples in cars. He scrunches up his Scottish body. I didn't come forward because in this country it makes you look like a pervert. He turns and implores and shouts, but every single Scottish person does it. Cut to candid TV. Foreigner who takes perverted videos of you. TV show called Rock Bottom. When you least expect it, he's Roddy Piper. He goes into the office and hands a videotape over to G. Jones. Who, he asks. The Simpsons are all watching TV. Oh, that man is sick, says Homer.
Yes, this is a good example of like Simpsons nostalgia glasses for fans. Because if this happened in a later season, they would say it was way too cartoonish. But essentially, a complete stranger to the family turns up at the door with a way out of the storyline for them. Is like there's no reason for it to be Willie specifically.
Willie ex machina, but it does make
Exactly.
sense that he's a dirty pervert.
Yeah, it's also there's a lot of things, to be honest, even with like the poverty thing and stuff. There's a lot of things where you could switch out Willie for Mo and it would still work. Like if Mo had been the groundskeeper and Willie had been the bartender, both of the characters would have been like they could have kept the same character traits and it still would have worked. So
But
like it would have.
interestingly, they are quite distinct characters at the same time, right?
Yeah, they went with the more romantic sort of like Mo's got a very sweet side, and you don't see that with Willie a lot. But there is a thing that interests me with Willie where he seems to be either the hero or the villain. He's either helping them or trying to hurt them, whoever's like the main character of the story. He's not really, I don't know, there's obviously a lot of times when he is just there in the background or there in the mob, but it is odd that he's never defined as being like, even in this clip, like Homer thinks he's the villain by the end of this clip, and at the start of it was the hero. Like it's very easy for him to flip those two roles, and that's why I left another clip in that will come in a while. I really like Roddy Piper.
I was going to say that just right now. I really like Roddy Piper. It's a great name.
Yes, it's just funny.
Obviously referencing the wrestler Roddy Piper.
Yes, with the glasses,
with the sunglasses, man. And the aliens, didn't he?
He did.
So that's fun where he goes into the office and hands the tape over to the dude, but we don't know that dude, right?
No, he's just like he hosts that program. It's the episode where Homer grabs that Venus de Milo off that girl's pants, and she's like, so Homer goes to this show to tell his side of the story, and they just edit it to make him look a monster, and then they clearly just do the same thing to Groundskeeper Willie at the end of the episode, but it works on Homer.
But that's the joke, isn't it? Homer goes to clear his name, but he's as susceptible even after he's been through this.
Yes, that is exactly the joke. He never, again, this was just a throwaway thing. Like Willie doesn't secretly, unless he's very good at it because he's doing it in secret, but we don't know of him videotaping anybody else. But there is something, he does have CCTV of the school. There's like a clip of Lisa and him walking into this like closet where he's got all the cameras, and she says something about like, I didn't know the school cared this much, and Willie just says like school as if he is just doing it for his own benefit. But that's a door we don't want to open today.
Oh God, no. Oh, Willie.
He does. Willie. He never seems to secretly film anybody else for anything. And
very, very secret.
Yes, I'd say that's about it. We also haven't talked about the design of Willie, which I'm sure will go up at some point. But
I have
something to say in a later clip, actually.
Okay, we'll come to it because we look at his parents, don't we? They're very good variants of Willie. Clip 3. This is a Treehouse of Horror 6, arguably Willie's highlights outside of his quips and gags. His plot highlights are in his Treehouse of Horrors. Sump's classroom. Crabapple says, well, put your head down the desk and sit quietly, Martin. Martin is not well. He says, a duet of pleasure. He says he falls asleep, and in dreamland he is caped and wizard-hatted. I am the wondrous wizard of Latin. I am the dervish of declensions, a conjurer of conjugation. With 1,000,000 hit points and maximum charisma, he is racing up a staircase of giant books. Behind him, a giant blackboard. Moria to die, Morishe, it dies. Willie emerges angrily from the blackboard. He sees, Martin sees Willie with a rake. Maurice, you die. Would have been funnier if the character's name was Maurice. Willie laughs menacingly as Martin races away. You have mastered a dead tongue, but can you handle a live one? Says Willie as he unleashes a giant monster tongue which encases Martin. Cut to real world where Martin is choking and falls to the floor.
That Martin bit's like that. Just thinking of that Martin bit then made me laugh. The scream is amazing that he does. It's very comical, but not about Willie. What I do like about this, though, we're in season 7 now, so I think we've mentioned this before, where there's scenes between non-Simpson family characters that just sort of work and you don't notice. Like this entire interaction is between Willie and Martin, and both of the characters is defined well enough that you feel comfortable with them. Like Martin's you know what Martin's going to do, and you kind of know what groundskeeper Willie's going to do, given that he's also the villain and Freddy Krueger in this situation.
Oh yeah,
But,
murder in it.
yeah, this scene's great. The whole idea is great, to be honest. The whole groundskeeper Willie as Freddy Krueger. And I'd say this is what made Willie sort of known, maybe, or what pushed him from being like a background character to somebody they could like heavily rely on in a lot of episodes for like a joke or two. Like this really sort of sets him apart. This is like Mole Man doesn't have anything like this, or like even like Mo, or like the only other example I can think of really is Krusty, Krusty and Ned maybe, where they will take a normal character and make them evil in Trails of Horror, and it just kind of works. So I'd say this is probably his best appearance, even though it's not T-shirt canon.
No, Willie is menacing, and that's the thing why it works.
Yeah, he's a threat.
Ned is the opposite, right? As in, it's like he's so nice.
It was about Ned. I made a point of remembering. It was about Ned being nice.
Ned's nice. Willie's sinister. He's one of the few sinister characters.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that then. He's it works with Ned because Ned is nice, so you're waiting for him to do something scary in the Halloween context when he's like the devil. So you're waiting for the non-niceness, whereas in general, everybody in town everybody who knows Willie is somewhat scared of him. It helps that most of them are children, but there's a general, other than Skinner and Chalmers, everybody has like just a baseline fear that he might at some point just snap. So the fact that in this context he's already dead as well, or like we've seen, our cousins have seen the prequel to this in the Maud Halloween when he burns alive and everybody ignores him, so he does this children thing. So all the kids know at this point, yes, the murder. All the kids know at this point that Willie is either missing or dead, so that already heightens the fear. But I do think it's successful as well. I think they successfully make him a threat in this. And I was just thinking it's funny that Skinner is a very like meek character who is like pushed around by everybody, but he's one of the 3 people who isn't scared of Willie. And also groundskeeper Willie and Agnes Skinner would be a good match.
Goodman match.
Yes, exactly.
Bonus Easter egg, season 10, when Homer and Bart steal Willie's retirement grease. That concept is delightful. And they use the evil Willie Trace of Horror music nice.
That's one of my favourite things that I've personally noticed in The Simpsons. Like, I've not seen that really mentioned anywhere, and I think it was only like within the last couple of years that I spotted that, so there might be more of those examples, but it's sort of like Sideshow Bob. They've taken like a theme from something else and applied it to a character, and maybe they were trying to push it to be like Willie's theme, but then Willie isn't always evil, so it only works in very limited spaces, this being one of them.
Aye.
And they also did it again. I've only noticed this twice ever, and the other one was like last week in the new episode about Ned, and they uses like the Ned music from the movie they played over some Ned stuff, which I thought was interesting.
What does the Ned music go like?
I can't remember, like doodle-doop-ba-doom diddly. They're going to New Springfield. They're going to another Springfield.
Titled Nightmare on Evergreen Terrace. Cool
Can I
red
have
writing.
your notes, please?
Gim wrote it over the street sign. Homer, Bart are crawling worriedly through some vents. A naked, ungreased Willie is following them with only a small towel wrapped around his buff body.
Yeah, they're not really worth. They were just in so I could display the music, and we have discussed as such.
Clip 4. Homer has a machine. He's with Burns on the side of the water. I'm guessing Loch Ness. Willie is there. He turns and he says, "The whole town's turned out. I've never seen them so excited." There is a very unexcited man, a woman, and Bo Abbey, and we pan to see. He looks like Bo Abbey, right?
I don't know who that is. You just said a word. You got another word wrong.
Bo Abbey. Rob McLeod knows it. You know who it is, don't you, Rob? He's nodding along.
I'll just get some audio of him saying yes from that chatbot special and put it in. He doesn't have control over his voice now.
It's me, Rob McLeod. I am hating of education for a bigly full-on true. This is Rob McLeod Real,
Like on the Stepford Wives, where you had like 100 words, and then you were able to build a robot out of them.
Yes. Reinventing education with automatic Rob McLeod. Only bad advice. Most of it will be a bit more.
So nothing's changed there.
Savage.
You can see him now sat at home with a single tear running down his cheeks.
Exactly. There is a reference to a McLeod in this as well, actually. A second one.
Blabby is the barman from Still Game.
Oh, yes, of course.
Pan to an old man and woman who are clearly Willie's mum and dad. Willie, that old couple looks like you, said Homer. Aye, it is my ma and pa. They own the tavern here. They still have the same pool table on which I was conceived, born, and educated. So you're back, says his mother in an awful accent. I suppose you'll be leaving soon, says Dad. I turn and walk away. They're a very nice design. Now's a good time to talk Willie.
Yeah, this is these are great as well. And again, cartoonish. Like, he's already mentioned at this point, he's seeing his father get hung for stealing a pig. And he's already mentioned something else about his parents, like either being dead or not knowing them. And I like that this just the American impression of what Scottish people are like is very good. Like, it's this would also kind of work for a British thing, I think, or like a northern, if they had more reference of Northern England. Like, it's very represented. It is accurate of like that sort of proud, not loveless, but we're not going to acknowledge that we like you even though you were our child. Like, I imagine there is still love there, and I do. It's hard to doubt that they are his real parents, and so he was just lying about the pig stealing, basically. Great designs though on all three of these. Willie, it's worth talking about Willie now, isn't it? The red hair was just going to be a given, but I wonder what he looked like. I wonder if they already designed him pre. You were like munching on a glitch. Human automated munch. Yeah, I wonder if he'd look different.
Oh,
I wonder if he'd look different if he was Spanish or Dutch. Like, I wonder if they'd already designed him and they had to redesign him, or whether just could like change the hair color. Because I could see like a Disney Chinese market Disney groundskeeper Willie, where he's got sort of like olive colored skin and like the same hair, but it's black, and his name would be like Janiterio Willie or whatever it said.
Jardinho Willie Amado.
Yeah, doctor. Yeah, I was going to describe his parents, but then he left the screen. I don't remember what they look like. His mum's a bit Maudish in her clothing and a bit Doris in her rest of it. Like the sort of gruff anger. He probably finds like a wholesome quality to Doris and thinks of his mother.
Aye, she reminds me of my mother.
Yes, grease me up, woman. And she's also got the bun. But then they've just done his face, just groundskeeper Willie's face on both of them completely in a sort of Millhouse way where he looks like both of his parents exactly. And kilts all round. I like that Willie's only here. Mr. Burns wants to buy the Loch Ness Monster for popularity. And again, like season 9 or something. Season 10 maybe. So he sends Homer goes because it's The Simpsons, if you didn't know. And Frink goes to try and like catch Nessie. And then Willie just goes because it's Scotland. Like, there's no other reason, which is kind of fun because they've been to a lot of places at this point and they haven't taken like the character other than that time Homer went to India with Happy. Other than that,
did that happen?
Yes, quite early, obviously.
He did all the voices.
Yes, he probably didn't, and that's what I mean. There's a lot of people getting away with. Nobody talks about Harry Shearer's Sanjay, but anyway,
that's going to be on Azaria's grave.
Yes,
nobody talks about Shearer's Sanjay.
The name of his third audio book, read entirely in an Indian accent by someone else, by a different white person. Yeah, that's about it for this one. The Willie parents. It's nice to see them. Are they our first, maybe Mole Man, like, where we've actually seen, first cast where we've actually seen in-show relatives.
ISR.
We don't get that a lot.
We've been waiting 18 long episodes for an ISR.
Yes, it's not like we met Mother of Sam Barfly, Mr. and Mrs. Pinkbeard Man. So yeah, it's nice to see that Willie again.
Clearly only a matter of time.
Yes, Willie's a character that is universally agreed upon by like fans, writers, critics alike. That everybody likes him.
Everybody loves Willie.
Exactly. ELW.
5. Season 15, episode 3. The President wore pearls. We are in the office. Skinner is with Chalmers. Willie, can't you turn your hose on them? He says as they look down to a group of protesters. They're wee children, says Willie in a moment of righteousness. I'd sooner turn it on myself. Well, that's a good idea too. Willie turns angrily and waves a finger. Now see here, nose wiping her combers. Back in Edinburgh, we had a coal miners' strike. All we wanted were hats with a little light on top of them. And one day the mine collapsed. No one made it out alive, not even Willie. Suspenseful music. He looks around suspiciously, eyes darting to Pem and Skem. Chalmers turns. Skinner, he shouts. I didn't mean to interrupt your advice. From the janitor, he says dismissively.
Yes, great clip. Controversial opinion, but this might be the best Groundskeeper Willie episode. This provides us with this clip that has absolutely no context and there's no need for this
No need
whatsoever.
for context.
It doesn't add anything either, like other than Skinner and Chalmers being aware that there are protesters outside is the only thing this scene needed to like display. And then Willie just goes off on this thing about a coal strike and needing helmets. It's not related to what's happening. It's not related to it. It's kind of, I suppose it's about a strike and a protest, but it's not, doesn't give them any advice or like they can't use that information to do anything. He just tells them that he might be dead. And I do like Chalmers'
Almost as if
opinion
the point of this show was to make one laugh.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's like they've thrown the idea of realistic, structured storytelling out the window by season 15, episode 3, The President Wore Pearls, a musical parody of something about Eva Peron.
Cry for me, Argentina.
Yes, do cry for me, Groundskeeper Willie. Chalmers' opinion of Willie, again, is one of the best things. Like, he's just so dismissive of him because he's a janitor. There's a couple of times where this happens where, like, just the way he says it, I don't mean to interrupt your advice from the janitor. There's a couple of examples of him doing stuff like that with Willie where it's just very dismissive of who he is. Chalmers is definitely up and coming on this as well. Chalmers is slap bang in my top 5.
Oh, he's a classic, isn't he?
What I don't know at what point this starts happening as well with the design of Willie, but he gets paler and paler as the show goes on. Like at the start in that season 2 clip, he's just Simpsons coloured. Like he's just next to Bart and Skinner, same shade. And as it goes on, he becomes like by the last clip we look at, he's essentially white. So maybe he is dead. Maybe it is like, because clearly like the animation changed, but they managed to keep the colouring of every other character accurate. But for some reason over time, they just kept making Willie like paler and paler. If you look at him like comparatively, it's odd.
Like this guy?
Oh yeah, like Smithers, but more intentional, not racially changed. But I would go out on a limb and say that's the best Groundskeeper Willie episode. It has that and the Millhouse bit and him being like singing and being drunk on the tractor amongst a couple of other great moments.
Splendid. Clip 6, season 17, episode 12. My fair laddie. Simpson's house. Willie on couch with Sam and PJs. Willie, I hope I'm not being too personal, says Lisa Simpson, but you seem resigned to a life of abject squalor. Oh, my family's used to it, says Willie. My grandfather used to get sent down the mines to make sure it was safe for the canaries. Don't you ever hope for anything better? Something better for Willie? He pops up. For Willie! Stands up. All I want is a place somewhere. Stops. They pause, and sassy Lisa says, maybe you could, is that it? Says Lisa. Maybe you could aim a little higher, says sensible Bart. Well, let me see. He begins to sing again. Oh, to have me shack rebuilt, get me rotten teeth all drilled. He's wearing some great patch-up hobo pajamas. Hobo pajamas. Hobo pajamas.
Hobo J's.
Magnifying glass to see rotten teeth. Does he get them done at some point like good Barney?
The fact that you can make sentences out of those, what you've typed, is impressive. I can tell you've done it recently as well because you aren't struggling as much.
Oh yeah. Just literally before we start recording. He springs and twists this delightful music. Something on underneath me kilt. He grabs the curtains. He's nailing it. Or wouldn't it be adequate? He smiles with a wide-toothed Willie grin. Santa's helper and cat wrapped around his feet. Matching shoes for both me feet, he swears. Dining on untainted meat. He grabs a meat can from somewhere, opens it, and reveals a big worm, almost like a snake. A toilet that still has a seat. We pan to Homer. shitting and reading the news. Oh, wouldn't it be adequate? Shouts Homer as the feces drops from his behind into the toilet bowl.
Yes, in a room that doesn't ever exist.
Oh no, the
Like a
makeshift toilet.
Bathroom under the stairs. With the door open just into the living room.
Oh, the smell.
Yes. This, not the best, but I left it in because it's the Willie episode. So this was the one time they give him full focus.
Full frontal Willie.
Yeah, exactly. FFW. They sort of play. I don't think he's this impoverished usually. Like, I know he lives in a shack, but that must be a choice given that, like, he has as much of a job as everybody else in Springfield who can afford these, like, you know, like, at least a house or an apartment. So it's got to be a choice that he lives in this shack. Like, that's sort of what this episode is about, that he becomes like a fancy man and becomes like a waiter and just realizes that he likes living in squalor, basically. But they're making it at this point like he's sort of, yeah, like I suppose he's not, because all he wants is a place somewhere. Like, the rest of it he has to push to think of. But yeah, they're making him seem like he thinks he's pathetic, like Gil, whereas normally Willie is sort of like confident and comfortable with his own life and his choices.
Please tell everyone how I live.
Yes, exactly. So that was a bit of a shoehorn for Willie. But yeah, this is the episode where Willie lives with the Simpsons this week, and they make him a different person, and he doesn't like it. That'll fill a mid-season episode. Let's just put it on the whiteboard. Disco Stew lives with Marge, season 36. Yeah, the pajamas are good. I do like the idea. Like, it's also, the entire episode is a My Fair Lady parody, clearly. So there's like 4 different, like, Willie sings like 4 songs in this episode, so he's probably got the most solo songs of any non-family character.
Right. Oh, what's that? It's a robot just came in with a what's it holding?
It looks like a machine gun.
A machine gun.
Oh my god.
Jesus H. Christ, my bones.
Look out, Beef.
Oh, he's just great. Oh, hold on. No, I think he's still alive. No, hold on, he's fighting again. Oh no, he's still. Oh, his torso and legs and arms. I think we can still save the bits. Oh no, he's basically milkshake, beef shake. Oh, what an unfortunate turn of events. But still, let's move on to some Willie Gold.
Yeah.
Let's not let this brutal slaying from these robots drag down the mood of the show.
No.
He's gone to that great big pub lunch in the sky.
Exactly. Now there is pub lunches at every hour of the day, not just lunch.
Is it true, Father, that in heaven it's an infinite pub lunch?
Pub suppers.
Never heard of such a thing as a pub supper. Pub breakfast. You want to be careful when you start thinking about pub breakfasts. But it's all that's on my mind, Father. Tell me of this pub breakfast.
Okay. Clip 7, season 21. Is this the last one before was about the dog and the cat?
Yeah, we did that one.
Wouldn't it be adequate? Yes. Clip 7, season 21, Pranks and Greens. A pun which I don't get.
No, I don't. I was just going to
Pranks
ask
and
you.
Gardens?
I was just going to ask you what it meant.
Sinister lit burn night. Something happened. Something that changed Skinner. He points. Willie scowls. And I had changed. I'd always been swim teacher Willie, and I always will be. Do as you tell you. Years ago, this school had a pool. Flashback to young Willie.
Yes, there is.
Flashback to young Willie with a big tash and a muscly body. He looked much more together. Now, it seems like this would have been an opportunity to have children of current Springfield residents.
Yeah, too quick. I think too short of a flashback.
Maybe. Also, that would put Willie and Skinner like a generation older than all of the Simpsons.
Yeah, I think this is exactly. This is only supposed to be like a couple of years ago, I think. Like 5 or 6 years ago.
I was an eager young swim. I was an eager young swim coach. The children do that diving at one time that you see in old movies, teaching the American youth the revolutionary Aberdeen crawl. They crawl along the bottom of the pool. It was a talented group, and we were all set to go to state finals. I shaved and waxed the boys. Cut to a very weird line of boys that Willie is waxing their back. This hasn't even got the excuse that it was in the 90s, because this was season 21. This was already in the 21st century.
Yeah.
Then came the night of the Wigglers. He was the
twisted monster.
He was the twisted monster you see today. The pool is full of worms. Young Skinner gets out with worms in his hair and his face. Shut this pool down, groundskeeper Willie, he says. All gold.
Yes, rose gold, if anything. Yeah, I left this in because it's kind of an origin story again. Like, this is the origin of Willie in Springfield. He was a swim teacher. I do like the line, I've always been swim teacher Willie. It doesn't make any sense though. Like, this
No.
is my sort of issue with this time of The Simpsons, is they're trying to aim, feels to me like they're trying to aim themselves at really young children, but also at like
Babies.
Family Guy viewers at the same time. The Night of the Wigglers is such like a children's cartoon line, but then he's waxing a line of young men. It's very all over the place.
It's creepy in every way.
Yeah, I do like the Aberdeen crawl though, where
Yeah,
they're
it's
just
great.
bottom of the swimming pool.
It's very good, very clever.
But I left this in because again, Skinner has no fear of Willie. Willie seems to have fear of Skinner, and this apparently explains why, but doesn't really make a lot of sense. Doesn't make any sense as to why they wouldn't just fire the swimming teacher. Why would you make him the groundskeeper?
And it doesn't make a lot of sense. He just comes up and says, groundkeeper Willie. Like, he does, it's like, I don't get the context, like why the pool would be closed and therefore Willie would become groundskeeper, and the pool was full of worms.
Yeah, a kid pranks him and by prank, I mean almost kills, like traps him overnight in a like covered swimming pool full of worms.
That's funny.
It's not a prank, really. It's just assault. So Skinner didn't like that. But again, the way he says groundskeeper Willie as well, it implies that it's his fault. Oh, like he's done something wrong, and he hasn't. He's just a bystander in this. He just remembers. And also, this is one of Skinner's like 15 backstories as well. So we can't really
Right, real Skinner.
Real Skinner. I'm in Tamsarian, so we can't take it to Willie. Might just be lying again.
No, and
But,
it's good. He's got a very wild imagination.
He does. He does indeed. But yeah, I left that in because it's an origin as to why he's a groundskeeper, basically. He had no intention of being anything but a swim teacher. But yeah, it just implies that, like, he could have quit. He didn't
None
have
of
to
it
go,
makes
"Oh, I
any
guess
sense. None of it makes
I'm
any
the
sense.
groundskeeper now."
The
Yeah,
irony
so-
is that it would be the groundskeeper that would probably be in charge of looking after the pool to some degree, or a pool cleaner, rather than the swim coach.
Yeah, if anything, he's received kind of a promotion because he's now been given way more things to do than just teach swim.
I don't think that's how promotions work.
It is. You get the more work you get, the more promoted you are.
All gold. Gold 0. I'll split these at you.
Yeah.
Spit these at you, and you respond on the fly with your hot takes.
Yes.
These are 40 gold clips that Willie appeared in. Gold 0. Willie pays Bart cash for a skateboard. For once, it'll be all eyes on Willie.
Yes, aggressive, and that he doesn't want to be the star, but apparently now he does.
Gold 1. Willie is pressed against the window. Spootana poochie, 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 he says it's Santa's little helper, who looks up doe-eyed. Scotland the Brave is played as Willie thrusts through the kitchen door as Lunch Lady Doris is making a big pile of slop. Lunch Lady Doris, have you any grease? Yes, we do. Then grease me up, woman. He rips off his shirt to show a muscled torso for the first time.
Yeah, I think that's the first example of that. Poochie and Doris, so that was the reason I left these two in. Cast, even though he's not talking about the same Poochie. He says Poochie before Poochie is even Poochie.
It's good enough for me. I think the trope of the muscled under the shirt is a good one. And the line of Lunch Lady Doris, even though she only said it the very once, it's an iconic one that I've used to this day, and I always hope someone will get it when I say yes, we do.
Yeah, it's very well delivered. Not that this is the Doris cast. Very dry. Yeah, funny.
Goal 2, classic back of the Willie shot. Shocked and shooed, he is bollock naked. A woman faints. Everyone is in trouble. Everyone is troubled. They are shielding their eyes. It is no more than what God gave me. He is hatted and jacketed, but kiltless, I repeat. Done on the stage outside at some kind of performance.
Yeah, there's a bit more of this clip spread out through this, but this is definitely one of his best and most memorable clips. With he's been led to believe he's talking at an event called Scotchtoberfest. list.
Ah, yes, that comes up later, doesn't it? Gold
Yes.
three, probably my favorite gold.
Yes.
Lisa opens the staff room door at Largo, Otto, Skinner, and other teachers are all looking on, and we hear Willie saying, "Look at me, I'm Milhouse. I tuck my shirt into my underpants. I've no friends." Cut to Milhouse gloomily looking at his own underpants flopping over the top of his pants. Tucked in. He's wearing a hat with a real one with a press ticket in it. "So I confide in Willie." Willie is gooching around like an ape with big old glasses on, and everyone, including Chalmers, who is reclining on a chair, is hee-hawing. Lisa is sheepishly looking on.
Sheepishly. Yes, this comes from that episode that I said is probably the best Willie episode. It's just so mean. It's just so the fact that he is just in there making fun of Milhouse, and he's making fun of Milhouse because Milhouse has reached out to him and confided in him.
So I confide in Willie. That's the
It's
best
the way
line.
that-
That's the
yeah.
line that gets it.
That's the one, yeah, because he can barely hold himself together whilst he's saying it. Like, he starts laughing himself mid saying it, and I do like that he refers to him. He does this quite a lot, actually. He refers to himself as Willie in a very Disco Stew kind of way,
Third person, isn't it? Maybe a third person cast if we get a couple more.
perhaps. But yeah, that's
Shows
by
Willie's
far.
mean side. Willie's mean side, but very funny.
There are three top level clips in this, and that is one of them.
Gold 4, birthday dog, your cheapest party option. So on the side of a van there's a sticker showing like a party dog that's a man dressed up as a dog, but the actual costume is a very ratty, dog-eared version of a dog mask that Willie puts on over his face, so you can just see his eyes, and shouts and says, "Woof woof, birthday dog says happy birthday."
Yeah, lazy and not that great, but I left it in because it's very Mordcast. Very Ralph Tonks, or like that cheap dog uniform is definitely going to play a role somewhere. But yeah, multiple jobs.
And that mask thing that the Simpsons do sometimes, where the mouth is just too big, so the eyes are very, very visible in the mouth. Is funny. I like that.
I do like that. And birthday dog says happy birthday isn't funny, but Willie says it in a funny way.
Exactly. Gold 5. Willie pats a steam engine? ? Were it not a violation of God's law, I'd make you my wife.
I think it's his tractor, which they moved away from. I think he was obsessed with his tractor early on, like that was his prized possession, and then it moved away from that, and his prized possession sort of became himself.
Gold 6. Willie is talking to a flame-haired BOTH lady. "But there's a pool at my apartment. There was a rat in the deep end." Cut to flame-haired woman glowing in the wind. Beautiful. And back to Willie. "But we got him. Ratting," I said. Ratting.
Willie is ratting. Yeah, it's almost as if Ralph Tonks fits into our Springfield universe. This is a weird one because this woman is real. This feels like similar to the Fergie thing in a minute, but this woman just turns up again. Early Simpsons getting away with stuff that late Simpsons would be called out for. Like, this woman's just there in the school grounds. And I think Willie says the tractor thing, and then out of nowhere, that woman says, "Now there's a lonely man." And he turns around and this happens.
Who is it?
No idea. She's never seen again.
Oh, so she's a real woman, but not a famous woman.
Yes. Fergie.
Gold 7. The most disturbing Simpsons image, I think, that I've ever seen is so Willie is looking at Fergie. She's reclining against a tree with psychedelic swirls all around her. Willie cracks the drink open, drops it in surprise as White Rabbit by the Jefferson Airplane plays. "Fergie, you complete me. Saints be praised," repeats Willie as he begins to smooch a rake. And he rakes his face, and so that these big red scratch lines are down his face. And it's disturbing.
It is quite visceral, isn't it? The image itself of him, like, just mauling his own face apart because he's drank I think they've drank like a vegetable drink, but it's also got a lot of weed in it. But or just hallucinogens, actually. I don't know specifically the drug. But yeah, I like that it's just sort of affecting everybody around town. Ned sees a big set of Rolling Stones lips. It's says, "Pucker up, Ned." There's
What
a
does
couple
Maud
of things. Maud sees what we see Maud see, which is nothing. Maud would not drink a vegetable drink just based on her. I tell you who definitely wouldn't.
Raheem?
Todd. Raheem
would-
also
I
wouldn't.
would.
No.
I wouldn't. And Todd would agree. I don't want any of your damn vegetable drink.
Nice. The way he says Fergie is very funny as well. Like he rolls the R's, and all they had to say, "This is where it works." It's almost as if Castellaneta is a voice actor, and he can take just the word Fergie and make it funny. And I think for years I thought this was Fergie from the Black Eyed Peas, and I was just very confused as to why she was like a ginger British woman all over the place.
Gold 8. Sarah Ferguson. She was married to
Yeah.
one of the princes, the dodgy one.
Oh yes.
Willie is ripped
one?
and in a towel in a school kitchen. Saints be praised, I'm from Scotland. Where do you hail from? Jerk-ass Homer wiggling his finger. Bart looks nervously. North Kilt Town, Homer says in a Joey Jojo Jr. style. Willie thrusts his chest out. No fooling. I'm from North Kilt Town. Do you know Angus MacLeod? Homer angrily says there's no Angus MacLeod in North Kilt Town, which I thought was a good line.
Yeah, that is good.
Because you'd
Good
expect him to
Homer.
get caught out like, eek, but instead he just angrily says, there's no Angus MacLeod in North Kilt Town.
Yeah, he flips the thing entirely where it feels like he's trying to catch Willie out. Yeah, no, this is a ground again. This is just the same man talking to himself, which is interesting and fun. A fun talent to have.
Very fun talent.
Willie and Homer should do more together. They should make a good duo. Remind me to mention that Willie and Sea Captain thing in a minute as well.
What about Willie and Sea Captain?
Oh yes, in that I think I sent it to you that like they did sort of like a Simpsons Derrida Funnies Hour.
Nice, yes.
Where it was just like clips that they didn't use or like were deemed unusable allegedly, and just like bits. And one of them is just Willie and the sea captain like in a storm, and the sea captain just says arg, and Willie just says I the entire clip.
Brilliant.
And it works. They communicate together and solve a problem. It's a good one.
I'm all for that kind of stuff. Not good enough for season 32.
It makes the 40 clips that we're looking at now.
Clip gold 10. Gold 9. A crowd is running and racing, but it is running and racing. Willie is running against them and stepping on them. If I don't save the wee turtles, who will? Cut to Willie being attacked by many small turtles. Save me from the wee turtles. He slumps to the ground. He's rolling on the ground. They were too quick for me.
Yeah, that's a fantastic line. They were too quick for me. Just to make the next set of clips is themed around Willie getting hurt, which I think just extended from Homer getting hurt. They just realised around season 4, maybe slightly earlier, that it was funny if the lead character in this cartoon was damaged occasionally. And then I think that just started spilling out to people, like, because it doesn't happen to everybody.
It happens to Hans Moleman a lot.
Yeah, and like maybe Mo sort of self-hurts. But
no funeral.
Yeah, Willie and Mole Man definitely take the brunt. No funeral. Yes, they were too quick for me.
They were too quick for me. And it's also funny that, it's a bit predictable, but it's funny because he's saying what someone saved the turtles, and then he's what someone saved me from the turtles.
Yeah, I do like the inexplicable. He just runs into the room and runs back out, and he's just covered in small turtles that are trying to bite him. Like it doesn't even. He must have just run face first into like the glass.
First
like
turtles?
Yes, FFT. Into the turtle sanctuary or whatever it's called. And
remember the old days of the first Simpsons?
I do. COVID.
Pre-Mod.
I think it was pre-COVID.
I'd like more of that.
COVID is blank, and I'll put a hole in the jar.
Say blank is blank, and I'll put a hole in the blank. Goal 10. Nelson has a hornet's nest on a rake. He hurls it at Willie. Catch the football, he cries. All right, says Willie. He screams off camera.
Yeah, just more Willie B. This is Nelson impressing Lisa. So there's a couple of things where he's like working with Willie. There's some, I think Skinner says as well, to like Skinner, Nelson, and Willie are stood there, and Skinner says like, I'm going to give you the lowest form of punishment, like the most degrading form of work, janitorial work, and Willie's just stood with him. And then he just gets taken around and does stuff like this. There's the whole thing of like turn on the noose, and then they just go on for like a couple couple of minutes where Willie's trying to desperately get him to hose the bees off him, and he's just pretending that he doesn't know what he's saying.
Oh yeah, remember that bit. That's funny. Why didn't that make the cut?
I don't know. Too much stuff like birthday dog.
Check. You need to check your mother with that like this.
Exactly. You need
What's
to
that?
check your mother.
I don't know, check, but you all better check yourselves. Grade 12, goal 12, Willie is doing a singing in the rain bit, but he falls to the ground howling. It burns. It burns like a Glasgow bikini wax.
Yeah, this wouldn't have made it in if it wasn't for that line, because it's just cheap. Like, this could have just been Homer. Like, Homer must have been busy this scene. Or, again, yeah, Mole Man. Like,
What's
it's just,
the rain thing? Is it acid rain or something?
Yeah, it's acid rain from the plant, but I can't specifically remember why, only in, like, season 15 or whatever. But yeah, it just feels like, oh, look, the silly man's being hurt.
The silly man's being hurt.
He's saved by a Glasgow bikini wax.
Goal 13, Willie is in the vents above the gym. Yes, it is more dizzying than the belfry at St. Carrigaglunwaggins.
Yeah, I don't know what that means at all. Is it
just
like a high tower in a very specific place of Scotland?
It's not a real place, I would wager.
North
Goal 14,
Kilstone.
Willie is raking up leaves. Skinner and
Edna.
Skinner and Kerbapple.
Edna Jabapple.
Willie is raking up leaves. Skinny and Kerbapple look on. Walk by. Willie hears you. I don't care. Is that what he says?
Yeah, they say we're not leaving the school until our demands are met, and he just says, Willie hears you, Willie don't care. It reminds me of, they don't do it as much, but Scruffy in Futurama, the janitor, has elements of Willie and stuff like that. I can imagine Scruffy saying, Scruffy hears you, Scruffy don't care.
Is it? Oh yeah,
I don't
he's
know
a
if it's
robot.
called Scruffy. Sounds right.
Gold 15. Do What You Feel Festival. Willie's on the podium they're setting up. If I am elected to mayor, my first act would be to kill the whole lot of you and burn the town to cinders. A workman comes over and whispers that mic is on. Willie angrily tells him that he knows.
Yeah, so this is early. This is season 4, so this is probably one of the first examples of Willie's anger towards the town that he lives in. Yeah, I like that he wants them to hear it as well. That's the difference between Willie and Maud, specifically, that he has no intention of hiding his anger or his hatred towards anybody.
No,
Wants them to know.
16. Gold 16. Skinner and Willie are interrogating Lisa in the office under a dim spotlight. Spill it. Where's your brother? And then Skinner says, you better answer him. Looking at Willie and says, he's a bad man. Cut to Skinner getting angry and Willie cowering on the table. You better tell him, lassie. I can't control him when he gets like this. So they obviously did a good cop by cop switcheroo mid interrogation, which is an old trope, but maybe they invented it.
Maybe. I sort of chopped it. Lisa's just giggling throughout this because she realised she says like after Skinner shouts at her and says he's a bad man. Lisa's just laughing and they saying, why are you laughing? And she says, like, a minute ago you were the good one and then now you're the bad one, and I don't think either of you realised. And then they do it again. And I do like, you get both sides of Willie in this. You get the anger and you get the sort of scaredy cat side of him.
We don't see the scaredy cat so much, especially not in these clips. We're mostly seeing silly Willie and angry Willie.
It's mostly aimed at Skinner. All of his fear seems to be Skinner based, and it's because he made him groundskeeper instead of swim teacher, apparently.
Gold 17. Cut back to Willie outside with the van from earlier, the Scottish van. He has a bag of blood sausage bites. Dolph, Nelson and Bart look on as he's chomping away on the blood sausage bites, and Bart backs away.
Yeah, I left this in because it's just, well, I'd already done that episode, but I do like the manic level that he eats the sausage bites with. Like, he's aggressively eating them, and there was no need for that if I don't know, that's just because Willie's defined as who he is by season 94, so they could just have him do that and it's right,
quote unquote funny.
Yes. It's funny on paper.
It's FOP.
I do quite like that episode.
FOP, but not FOS. Skinner, Skinner's office. Willie, remove all the coloured chalk from the classroom, says Skinner. Willie bangs the desk. I warned you, didn't I warn you? That coloured chalk was forged by Lucifer.
I do like this again, just the level of anger he reaches from 0 is great. And he picks these weird hills to die on, coloured chalk. I like this thing that at some point Willie's been warning Skinner that this coloured chalk is going to cause chaos. and he
was right. He was right. I said to Willie. Willie, Gold 19, Willie is leading the Pitchfork Brigade into the forest. It is a monster. Kill it, he cries. It is night. Cut to, it's Mr. Burns. Then, somewhat predictably, kill it, kill it.
Yeah, that's the best delivery of a line in this thing, I would say. Oh, it's Mr. Burns. Like, the way he says it is so patronising. As if like, oh, it's Mr. Burns. Oh, everything's okay now. Oh, it's Mr. Burns. And then just screams, kill it again. He doesn't care who it is. He wants it dead. And yeah, it's weird that he's not front and centre in more mobs. He's always
mob
there,
leader.
but he's not a leader of the mobs in the way that like the four, like the Holy Rollers kind of are. Willie would be a good mercenary or bouncer for the Holy Rollers,
Aye.
but he's not. Kill it.
Kill it. 21. Goal 21. Willie has now fallen down the stairs on the skateboard. What are you looking at, you bastards? Aimed mostly at Martin.
That's like just stupid for like season 16. And again, like Family Guy influence has crept in a little bit, hasn't it? Where I don't think bastards counts as much in America. It is like they do kind of get away occasionally with English swear words
Shit,
because
fuck,
they're
piss.
yeah, because they're English. Like there's the one where
Oh shit, fuck, piss. What are you looking at?
exactly. There's the one where you two are on the plane and one of them collects spoons. And I think Bono throws the spoons and it hits Mr. Burns and he turns around and calls them all wankers.
That's
And
unacceptable.
But Americans, it's sort of less. They see that it's not. It doesn't count in America for some reason. It's a British swear. For it to be
Like when they
used.
say twat. They say
Yes.
twat.
And I do like Willie screaming it at children though, like just aggressive.
He also wanted all eyes on him right until seconds earlier.
Yeah, what are you looking at, you bastards? Group for like 10.
It's a good use of the bastard card. You're only going to use it once every like 5 seasons or 10 seasons.
Yeah, it doesn't happen a lot. There was one someone called Marge a bitch last week, I think. Or like just very casually said, like, I think bitch is okay now in America, to be honest, because of things like drag queens. I think that's what it was. I think one of the drag queens that appeared just said like bitch please or whatever. And it didn't feel any more jarring than the animation they'd done, which was awful.
Goal 22. Bast Holden G Aposter. I'm not. What does that mean?
Jesus. Oh, That's holding a postcard. I'm not really seeing the ankle.
Oh yeah, that's
screams,
right.
The ankle doesn't care. Again, they just crammed that episode, the Dolph, Bart, Martin, Nelson, buddy thing. Willie's just in like 2 or 3 scenes, and they just crammed as much stuff in as they could. I think with Willie, like everything he says is a Willieism.
Are they in Scotland in the story? Is that the joke?
Yes. It's not really the joke so much as the plot. The joke is the nuanced relationships between the 4, and when the angry Scottish man eats the blood sausage.
Is it a Stand By Me parody?
No, it's not really in anything. But it's just they get sent there as like a punishment. I don't know why. It'd be interesting to look at why they did it, because it was kind of a Martin episode, but it's just like season 34. Okay, let's send 4 kids to the Scottish Highlands and they meet like a goat cult.
There's gold. There's got to be some gold in there.
Oh, yes.
Goal 23. Willie in orange jumpsuit in courtroom. He pulls a gun on Wiggum. Blue Hood lawyer is there. They'll never take me alive. He doesn't say that, does he? He shoots a gun right through Marge's penis hair, and then he shoots Skinner in the chest. Blood gushes out.
Violent, and what we will find out, it changes, like this scene, it changes everything by the end of the scene with the shock twist, but it doesn't change anything for Willie.
Goal 24. Would you shut up, woman?
He's talking about my leader.
He's talking about my leader. Homer is tied to a chair. This is the brainwashing one?
Yeah, another great example of Willie just being there and being used successfully. He's one of like 5 people, including Ned, Maud, and Lovejoy, but you don't see Maud, who hasn't been won over by this cult for some reason. And then they get Willie to try and interrogate Homer, and within like seconds, he's been recruited to the cult and he's obsessed with the leader. And by the end, he's the only person who tries to when it's come out that it's a sham, he's still the only one like chasing the leader down the street to I still love you or whatever.
Goal 25. Yeah. Willie's in church talking to Marge and Lovejoy. I'll kidnap him for 50, deprogram him for 100, and I'll kill him for 500. At him looking sad. Okay, I'll throw in the killing for free.
Yeah, that's about Homer. This is his plan to get Homer out of the cult, and I just like that he's happy to kill. Like it clearly is something he's done on before, he's clearly like also a mercenary when needed. And he's one of the few characters that it wouldn't matter if they'd killed. It wouldn't change anything from his story or his character.
Perfectly believable that he's off the odd ne'er do well.
Yeah, it's not like this line came from
Blue-haired lawyer.
Mrs. Glick.
Skinner in shorts and whistle, PE teacher style. Okay, Skinner, that's the last time you slap your Willie around. He is mopping.
Yeah, I left that in because it's the only one that I could find, which is odd because his name's Willie, so you think as a silly kind of, not high bar all the time comedy, they would have
Willie joke.
Yeah, there'd been more than one, but this is the only example I could find, and it is quite funny. This is also the same episode.
Term?
What?
Did the Americans use that term?
I don't think so, but I think again they would understand it. And also, this is the same episode where Skinner's, by the end of the episode, Skinner's been like tied into the sack that contains the volleyballs, and he says to the hamster, like, Nibbles, chew through my ball sack.
Nibbles, chew through my ball sack.
Yeah. Highbrow.
Goal 27, Doon Toon.
Yes, one of the better ones. Saying that, they're all great. Willie sings a lot, I've noticed. This is him auditioning for the B-Sharps, so that would have been a interesting twist. It also means he probably was still a swim teacher at this point.
Maybe. Why do you think that?
It's rough. It's a few years earlier, because Bart's like a baby.
But he's definitely not got the Willie head thing.
No, he does not. He's definitely aged.
Willie, goal 28, one-man Willie. I'm a maniac on the floor, and he's pounding the cymbals and dancing faster and faster as he sings the song Maniac. He then pours a bucket of water on himself as the crowd looks disgusted, and he reclines into the water.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is the Sherry Bobbins one, so this is, I think he's supposed to be, this is like the Dick Van Dyke kind of a character from Mary Poppins, but instead of doing a Dick Van Dyke song, they just picked that song from Flashdance, which must have been at the time relevant.
Sure. Goal 30. Bonjour, says Willie in a beret, in a striped shirt. You cheese-eating surrender monkeys.
Yeah, this is the sort of, I don't know if this is what Willie's best known for, but this is something they do a lot with him, where he will, like a 3-word insult. Should we just read?
Let's read them. Let's tag team them. Cheese-eating surrender monkeys.
You silk-wearing buttercup. They're all mostly aimed at Skinner as well.
Bath-taking underpants wearing lily hugger.
You blouse-wearing people walker. Poodle walker, I think it is. You blouse-wearing poodle walker.
He's fighting Skinner during a storm while Skinner is driving as well.
Oh, yeah, that's it. I think it's Treehouse of Horror.
Yeah, croquet playing mint muncher.
Your Puritan pukes. And the next one's by far the best one. It's the leader one again, and Ned's come in. He's trying to be intimidating. And Ned comes in with, like, snacks. And he says, "You've ruined the atmosphere, you daft pansy."
Oh, yeah. Ned arrives with some brownies. Well, it is my rumpus room. Don't call
it that.
Don't call it that.
He's just really doing his best to be intimidating, and Ned comes in. Ned Willie two-hander. That would be a story I would definitely watch for 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Gold 38. Willie is on a passed out Skinner. Although I don't think it's Skinner. I think it's Chalmers. He is ripped up and ripped. Chalmers is unconscious. I said, "Make way for Willie, you bloated gasbag."
I do like that as well. He doesn't care who he's talking to. Like, that's his superior's superior, and he's just crushed him by falling from like the top of the gym all the way down.
Is that from when he was in the pipes earlier?
Yeah, it's when he's in the vent chasing the dog. He's been in the pipes twice, and that was when he gets greased up. And then the second time is when his grease has been stolen.
His retirement grease.
Yes. But yeah, the level of disrespect for everybody around him, again, except for Skinner. You're on your own with number 38. Oh no, I remember it.
7-3 out. Eek. I'm Ena Tok.
Yes, it's when he says eek, I mean ok. And he's been caught like making a really sort of like fearful, like child noise, and then he changes it to
A manly noise.
Yeah.
39 to 41 are the 3 axes that he gets in the back during the Treehouse of Horror.
Oh yeah, which we
Prequel.
did cover. Which we heard those two, that dog and that hobgoblin cover in the Shinnin cast. But
Exactly.
yeah, Willie, hero or villain, that Treehouse of Horror, he is the attempted hero of all 3 stories, and then a Treehouse of Horror later, he is the one of the most impactful villains.
Might be. Gold
Exactly.
42 in the grounds of the school. Willie is having a punch up with someone. Ark, you speak like a poet and you punch like one too. And then this great shot of the extended arm biffing him in the face.
Yeah, it's very Popeye, but that line's great as well for a later Willie line. You speak like a poet, but you punch like one too.
Beautiful. Gold 43. Willie's been deaf singing since the boiler explosion of 88, but I've taught myself to lip read. Postman passes by. Morning, Mr. Willie. What did you say about my mother? Your information, her feet stink because she works in manure all day.
Yeah, that's a bit too Homery for me. I don't know if it just sounds like Homer, but I do like what did you say about my mother though, and that's for some reason is recurs.
And the next one's even better. He's in the gym and he looks at a donkey and he says, "What did you say about my mother?" The best line, one of the best lines, is when he's wrestling the donkey. He says, "You'll fry up nice tonight."
Chaotic. I don't know what season that's from either, but
"You'll fry up nice tonight" to the donkey.
that does lead into one of the cheapest but best lines from Willie, which is the next one.
I bought him and I ate him. There's some in a little wood cabin, and Willie's eating like a leg of chicken or something, and he says, "I bought you a mutt and I ate him."
Yes. And then he says, I put this a bit later, didn't I? But he says, like, yeah, I ate him. I ate his guts. I ate his little face. I ate the way he always barks.
It's clever semantic drift.
And then he says, I didn't leave it in because it was too cheap, but he says, I ate that mess that he left on the carpet. And then Bart turns around and there's nothing there. And Willie says, you heard me.
Gold 46. A wolf is attacking Bart. Don't underestimate Willie.
Put down the hors d'oeuvre. It's time for the main course.
Right. Then the hors d'oeuvre is down for the main course. And they have a big fight in a mid-air rumble and tumble. Gold 47.
Yeah, the fact that he can go up against a wolf, and he beats the wolf as well and like consoles it outside and says like, I've been fighting wolves since you were a baby wolf.
The line you said before is gold 47. I ate his little face, etc.
Yes.
Gold 48.
Et
Back at the
angle.
Well, it's well done, Barton. Back at the ankle.
Oh, yes.
Bart, Dolph, etc. Well, welcome back. I was sure you'd get lost and eat the wee fat one.
Yeah, I think that's just a callback to the little fat boys in trouble. Like, I think that's just been... This episode was probably written by someone my age, so they already had they don't have to go back to look for Simpsons references of the Into It enough.
You'd hope so. Gold 49. Gold 49. Willie in his...
Notes are generally made to help, not hinder.
Jesus Christ. He says, we do battling. Oh, he's got like a ball going on. We're going to battle. No, he's naked, isn't he?
It's before the balloons have been attached to his kilt. So he's wearing like just Scottish, like traditional Scottish clothing.
But he's also bollock naked, right?
No. Sure. See through my balls.
He says in battle, but you do battle in a full-length ball gown covered in sequins. The idea was to blind your opponent with luxury.
Wonderful. I watched The Chase last night, and they referenced something about, I don't even think it was The Chase, it was something to do with like the Celts and the Vikings.
Right.
And they said that the Celts turned up just completely naked with like war paint on.
Yeah, blue paint. They would cover themselves in blue paint and fight naked. Yeah.
Yes, like that movie, The Passion of the Scotsman. So maybe there's some sort of snippet of truth in this story, even though it sounds insane. They just added the ball gown because it's equally as stupid as turning up naked.
Gold 50.
Blind your opponent with luxury.
It's a great line. Gold 50 at the side of the stage. I didn't cry when my father was hung for stealing a pig, but I'll cry now. Breaks down the Skinner's shoulder. I think, but I'll cry now. Is that a reference?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's just him saying, like, I wasn't sad when this happened, but I'm sad now. Maybe it's a direct line from something, but they changed the pig hanging. Anyway, it's a quote from The Simpsons.
Yeah, I think it really is just a Simpsons quote. Oh well, it's a great one. It seems like it's something. Gold 51. Willie Frabber Ralph arm. Willie grabs Ralph's arm. Come along and lose the books. They won't tell people where you're going. There's 90s Willie.
Yes, 2000s Willie, I think. Leading
that
Ralph
aged well.
to danger. Yeah, I think that just implies that Willie is taking him to danger, but Willie is accustomed to the danger. It doesn't necessarily that Willie is the danger.
I'd like to state that Willie is not the danger, but Willie is accustomed to the danger.
Willie is the one who knocks.
Gold 52. There is such a thing. There is no such thing as Scottoberfest. You used me, Skinner. You used me. He screams at Skinner and the FBI agents.
Yeah, that's, again, one of the... Left it for the end because it's one of the best ones. Like, the level of anger he feels here. And the fact that the entire thing, like, the blinding your opponents with luxury stuff. He's on stage talking about Scottish history, and it was just to set up that. Like, the entire holiday has been... Like, he fully believed that the school was reaching out to him to celebrate his culture, and they weren't. And you can hear that anger in his voice.
Yeah, use me, Skinner.
Yeah, it's great.
It's a funny accent. The Scottish accent is very funny. It's second only to Geordie.
Yeah, it wouldn't have worked at all in The Simpsons because they wouldn't have known what that was.
They wouldn't have known
what
in
the 90s.
No,
there were no Geordies in America in the 90s.
Oh no, definitely not. But even now, there's only Sting.
Yeah, that singer, Sam Fender. He's popular these days.
Really?
He's probably. I think he might be from Middlesbrough actually, like Mortimer.
Gold 53. Final. I can't bring revenge on your jet. Well, I want jump Usi to Willie.
This is one of the best. I keep saying that, but one of the best ones again.
This is an equal first with all the other 49.
Yes, except for the birthday dog one. He shot at a courtroom. He just opened fire on a courtroom. He shot through Marge's hair. He shot Skinner in the chest. And essentially what happens is it's all a setup and everybody's in on it to teach Homer a lesson. Like, it's a blood pack on Skinner and stuff. And then Lisa says, Homer says, yeah, I can't believe everyone was in on it. And Willie just says Willie wasn't. So Willie had no idea, and everything he'd done out of his own actions, believing it was like permanent. Like, so he shot at Marge, he shot Skinner, and he was fully ready to take everybody out in that room. And yeah, I just think it's great that Willie wasn't. He had no idea. And you can hear the anger in his voice again. Like, he's been used again.
A lot of anger. He's used a lot. He's taken advantage of. So even though he's a very angry man, he's not that smarted. So he's taken advantage of.
Yeah, he seems to blindly believe anything Skinner tells him, like the whole Scotchtoberfest thing in the first place. Scotchtoberfest is a great word as well.
Oh, Willie. Oh, Commander Darren Spider's here. I knew it. You're a double agent for the extremists.
Meow. I am not a double agent, Meow. How could you accuse me of such a thing, Meow?
I'm not backing down. Don't play innocent with me. I saw you talking to one of the extremists just last week.
This can be Natalie Balloon Manticore's line.
Commander, let's not jump to any conclusions here. We need to give Baroness Berry the veil of Catmoose the doubt before throwing accusations at her.
And who put you in charge, Beef?
I'm not Beef. Beef is dead.
That fact remains that Berry has some explaining to do, Beef.
The tension is rising. That's what Niall thinks. The fate of the Circle rests in our hands. But the group is both broken by these accusations and suspicions of mistrust.
What? Keep out of it, Neil.
It's Niall.
Neil? I don't even know where you're reading.
Niall steps in between Commander Darren Spider and Baroness Berry the Veil, his eyes blazing with sugar.
I am stepping in between you, Darren Spider, and you, Baroness Berry the Veil. My eyes are filled with and blazing with sugar. How dare you accuse her of this without any evidence? You're just looking for someone to blame for your own failures, you useless spider.
Me? My failures? You think I caused this attack, you bitch?
You were supposed to be in charge of security. How could you let this happen? And you're the bitch, you little bitch.
Now I'm getting involved. Looking accusingly at each other won't solve anything. We need to find out who it is and stop them, so we can all pub lunch in honor of Beef.
We need to work together. We want to pub lunch the Salt Circle.
Oh, I still feel some tension, bastards.
It's lingering. We've been under attack since like the 22nd of December. We're
Well,
all
you know,
tired
time moves strangely here.
in the circle.
All right. Well, there's so much gold. There is so much Willie art.
Oh yeah, I can imagine there's more than anybody else probably
And
that
so,
we've looked at.
oh yeah, and good Willie art. Like they say, we aren't talking database. They sent that slim pickings. So
We seem to be back to like Poochie level good.
So we got a picture of a very ripped almost Marvel style Willie in a field with a sparkling rake, which is not
that's
pulling
great.
down his face.
It's great. It does feel like it could be from. To me, it looks kind of anime-ish as well. Like he looks like a sort of Dragon Ball Z villain.
Yeah,
I
don't
think
know
it's
who drew it though. It's good.
It's very good. It's very well rendered and still holds the Simpsons qualities. Like I think, yeah, even if he wasn't coloured yellow, you would be able to say, "Oh, that's groundskeeper Willie from the Simpsons."
I think so. I think they've nailed him.
Beautiful work.
Next up is a classic, which is possibly an official Willie image.
Tapped out.
Is it tapped out? So he's doing the Marilyn Monroe thing where his skirt is flying up in the breeze when he's got basically a kilt and all these kind of like leather strappy shoes and leather belts all over him. And the hat's, I don't think the hat's even particularly Scottish.
No, he's Egyptian in this one.
That does make sense.
It's from the Bible episode. Like the Bible stories, one of those is Moses, but Lisa's Moses. So Willie is I'm just double check. I think this is what he's called, but I might be wrong and I don't want to. Oh no, I was right. He is referred to as slave driver Willie. So he drives the children that are the slaves, which sort of doesn't really make. Oh no, yeah, drives as in like works, not
not
like
drives,
auto.
not like a bus.
But yeah, I do like the Marilyn Monroe thing, and it's I don't think this does anything in the episode. I think they just run out of things to do in Tapped Out.
No, it's cool. It's good image. Good image. Well done, T.O. Another probably official one of Cyborg Groundskeeper Willie.
Yeah, this is also Tapped Out, but I don't know. Again, at some point they just started doing whatever they wanted, so this might not even be from an episode. I do like his arm. His arms are great in that though, like the brush and the dustpan.
Aye. Now we've looked at these from Albert Montoya before, the like horror ones. I mean, there's definitely a good Morty one, but I don't think we've seen this Willie one. Got vines all over him and an eye in his hand. It's beautiful.
Yeah, this is great, and like the stomach's ripped open, so it's sort of fleshy, not yellow though. Yeah, like it's character specific as well, like the vines, because he's a groundskeeper, so he's become like unkept, like a land, like the land he has not been able to maintain. Like there's a worm coming out of his head. The eye in the hand, I don't know, is that just a
thing in it?
PLR.
Aye. Here is it's from the Bongo Treehouse, and it's got a psychedelic Willie with the ghosts and monsters above him.
This is from Bongo?
I believe so. Maybe a cover of Bongo Treehouse 2006.
Good lord, we're in for some real treats in the next 12 to 13 years with the Bongo cast.
Indeed.
That's great. It's they've got the eyes. It's very the Scream, isn't it? The Munch Man.
Munch.
Human automated Munch. And Pemming and Skemming, but one of the Skem's much smaller than the Pem.
Different, very sized Pem and Skem. Now we've got a Willie Mania, where he's a Hulkamania. He's Hulk Hogan, pin his shirt open, but he's also Willie.
Yeah, it's almost unbelievable they haven't done a wrestling episode where people like Willie and like Wolf Castle, etc. get involved. However, the PlayStation 1 game Simpsons Wrestling does exist, which is more than an episode, it's an entire game, and you can play as Willie.
Brilliant. That is by Andres Maval.
Nice one.
This is an official Groundskeeper Willie plush polo from Universal Studios.
Yeah, it's about as official as, I don't know, like Laurie Goodman. It's not, I wouldn't pay Universal Studios money for that. It's not bad. It's not bad, but it's very, very Etsy. If it said Groundskeeper Willie dog toy, I'd believe it more as well. But it's just, what would you want? I kind of conceptually like the idea of the fur surrounding it, but it just looks like an aeroplane neck pillow or something.
Aeroplane neck pillow, absolutely.
His arms don't look like that either. He had one job.
So
Is
this
this real?
This apparently is real. It's a Funko Pop of Willie as some monster from a show. That's a Treehouse of Horror, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's the Kruger one.
Okay,
That's
well-
sort of like the ending where they're in the dream.
So I think
That's
I don't
very
think this is very good. I don't know if it's just concept art or whether the Funko Pop itself actually exists.
It could just be crayon art.
No. I think it's
As we know from the like 80 Mordcast Funkos that I've asked it to make now.
2022. Yeah,
That's beautiful. That's one of the best pieces of Simpsons merchandise I might have ever seen.
you should buy it.
I should.
Fans, why don't you send one to Zaz?
Ask people to buy me things.
But
But
send
try
it. Send it to him.
Go on.
He'll love it. And here is a Groundskeeper Willie in the style of Super Smash Brothers.
Oh yeah, that's fun because I was doing that conceptually for the Mordcast season 7 when we brought in new people. Daz Top Hat has joined the battle.
See how Artbot deals with that.
Let's see. Yeah, that's really good. I really enjoy seeing 3D Simpsons.
Yeah, it's good, especially in that kind of vector art and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And up here is
That might-
something from Board Panda. I don't know who made it. Dark Side AI of Groundskeeper Willie in real life, IRL.
That's a good one. It's half sort of Van Gogh, Philip Jeffries. Oh, like not Philip Jeffries, but Bowie specifically in his ginger period.
His face is just too kind, isn't it? You think Willie? I don't think Willie ever has that kindness.
No,
on
and he
his
also
face.
needs sort of thicker eyebrows or more colourful.
Here's a different AI generated Groundskeeper Willie, which I really think is better because
That's Stamp.
It's very stampish, isn't it?
That's Stamp.
It's very real. Very real.
It's also a bit homeless Hucknall, which would have been a good name for Groundskeeper Willie.
It would have gone over the heads of many people, as I'm sure it just has done.
Yes.
It's brilliant.
HS Junior.
Emily Hall
Oh.
Arts, one
sure.
of our favourites.
Yeah, I have the mod. I purchased the Emily Hall Art mod, and it's beautiful. And this Willie is equally as beautiful.
It is.
It's
It's really nice.
$30. That's good. Yeah,
Okay.
you should buy it for me.
I don't think it's
Everybody.
available yet.
No, chip in, everybody, write to them, and also get Roswell in on this. She owes us. I know you can get it as a figure, like a Playmates figure,
Right.
because you can also get Devil Ned, which they're re-releasing. They're doing like Devil Ned is one of the new ones in the Super 7 that they're doing. So we're getting dangerously close to a mod. Dangerously.
Don't get your hopes up.
We'll see.
Not when we've only done a young Obesius
Exactly.
and an old Obesius. Not when we've only got two versions of Homer Simpson as Obesius.
A Mafia Bart multicolour. That lad's great though. Bartigular.
Yes.
But yeah, that Emily Hall is a great artist, and I would like to see her cover all of the Castcasters.
Then there's I think it's a Burger King toy from 2002 where Groundskeeper Willie is dressed as the thing from the Black Lagoon.
That's a good idea it's a good idea for a bongo Halloween story. I'll say that. Burger King brought their A game out in the early 2000s when it came to Simpsons toys. Like, there's a lot of you know what that is. I like it.
That's a hyper real Groundskeeper Willie.
It is hyper real. How many arms is that bottom? That's annoying because I've tried so many times to make it do like legs, like 5 legs, and it just won't. But it's given that bottom guy 4 arms with no prompt. Yeah, Burger King really went above and beyond in the early 2000s with Simpsons toys, and this Groundskeeper Willie kind of shot. That Groundskeeper Willie Burger King toy is significantly better than that Universal Willie toy that they're probably charging like $20 for. And all you had to do at Burger King was buy a small burger and a small fry and a small drink. They also nailed Pokemon in the early 2000s and meat. They are good at burgers too.
Aye, here's
Almost as a bit of the king.
Here's Groundskeeper Willie and a genie.
From Aladdin.
Here's a raging Groundskeeper Willie plush toy.
Keep Aladdin's mouth.
I gotta
Keep
go in
Aladdin's name
I've
out of
got to
your
go in
mouth.
8 minutes.
Excellent.
So
That plush toy's great because
Yeah.
it's shitty.
It's brilliant.
It looks like he's wearing like a wrestling mask or he's part werewolf. You bastard.
I have to stop there. I was hoping to get out by 9 and it's nearly 5:30, so gotta go.
End song.
End song. Let's do it. Come on then.
Dance helper.
Gonna be a long one. Scottish Simpsons.
Homre Badman. Homer he sassy.
Subsums at Watch Young. Asleep.
He falls asleep and in Dremland.
Scramming.
Declensions.
Scramming.
Bow Easter egg. Riffley.
Scurring.
Hema.
Concrete of Headed.
The Repeater don't war purse.
Skinner.
Simpson's house for me old sued.
Don
Something
we
better for Willie.
like a good barony.
I untainted meat.
Yeah, yo, skål på Paul.
Talented gulp.
The wets morning.
One ek eitel allies on Willis.
Spooty and pochi pochi pochi.
Charo. Broom. Millhouse. Blomley.
Tickeoon.
I took my shirt into my underpants. I've got no friends, so I confide in Willie.
Sheepingsley.
Sitakirk. STMA engine.
Franz aeroplane. Drisubbing.
Beat locks nervously. Kiltone.
Sag. Wee turtles.
Will oi. Bikini wax.
Festicle. Onquos.
Heckrise. Surround. Immigrants. Oh yeah, you want to pick on immigrants? Pick on Willie.
Oh, did we miss that one? Well, we missed that one, right, didn't we?
Yeah.
Listen up, the pukes. So Willie is surrounded by children, Sherry, Terry, Nelson, others. Then he runs around, thrusting his fists at them. You want to pick on immigrants, pick on Willie. And then the Skinner says, Willie, please, the children want to pick on someone their own size.
Yes, and also in that scene there are two Ralphs.
Is that right?
Two Ralphs in the crowd.
Listen up, your pukes.
Wheelie at the ankle, Scort room.
Willie looks, Sandalrite, Killig,
I'm a maniac.
Bafflet,
Mint muncher.
Wistwaring,
Daft pansy.
Skull, Yaspec,
Attacking Welladon's blood up.
Allied Noahs,
I didn't want to Wamama Fathe ha Okme.
Warrant, Demka Skinner, Unst me.
Jet will I want. UCT Willie. The end. Wonderful. Oh, Beef, by the way, was killed but has been resurrected as Beef Skellington.
Spooty and pochi pochi pochi, pochi pochi pochi, pochi pochi pochi, pochi pochi pochi.
15, season 34. Now that's an episode I'd watch.
Which one?
Number 5. And number 4, to be honest, if Maud was a librarian.
Number 4's fun.
Yeah. Poor Maggie hasn't got a single look in these. She becomes addicted to a popular mobile game and neglects her family. Excellent. Exactly what we came here for.
You're going to put these on screen right now, right?
Yeah, we should definitely read them all at some point. I don't know if it's mid-clip, but we'll just read them out and I'll move them to the
The
end.
chatbot can read them.
Oh yeah, okay.
Sure. Here are 19 potential plots based around your cast characters, my lords and masters Flimsy and Lawrence, and to a lesser extent Baroness Barry the Veil. Disco Stew's last dance. When Disco Stew's club is threatened with closure, he must find a way to save it by organizing a fundraising disco marathon. Poochie returns, again, after years of obscurity. Poochie is resurrected by a network executive who wants to revive his failed TV show, but Poochie's ego soon gets in the way. Lunch Lady Doris' secret ingredient. When Lunch Lady Doris wins a cooking competition, her secret ingredient is revealed to be something shocking that leads to a citywide scandal. The rise and fall of Database. Database becomes the new school class president and is initially popular, but his ambition leads him to take extreme measures that lead to his downfall. The tragic life of Hans Moleman. Hans Moleman becomes the subject of a documentary that explores his many misfortunes, but ends up revealing a hidden talent that leads to a surprising career change. Todd's rebellion. Todd Flanders starts to question his family's religious beliefs and becomes more rebellious, leading to a conflict with his father and a surprising ally. Princess Kashmir's second chance. After being fired from her job as a dancer, Princess Kashmir finds a new passion and purpose by becoming a social worker, but her past comes back to haunt her. Leopold's big break. Leopold, the school's strict disciplinarian, becomes a viral internet sensation after a video of him singing karaoke goes viral, but his newfound fame comes at a cost. The redemption of Sideshow Raheem. Sideshow Raheem, a forgotten character from Krusty's past, returns to Springfield and attempts to make amends for his past mistakes. Maggie's adventure. Maggie Simpson embarks on a solo adventure in Springfield, encountering various characters and obstacles along the way. The return of Barb Belfry. Barb Belfry, Springfield's former news anchor, returns to town and causes a stir when she reveals a shocking secret about her past. Cecil's revenge. Cecil Terwilliger seeks revenge against his brother Sideshow Bob for years of neglect and mistreatment, leading to a dramatic showdown. Mr. Pinchy's new home. After accidentally killing Homer's beloved lobster, Mr. Pinchy embarks on a journey to find a new home in the ocean. Lionel Hutz, attorney at law. In this legal drama parody, Lionel Hutz takes on a high-profile case that could make or break his career as an attorney. Troy McClure's Hollywood nightmare. Troy McClure experiences a personal crisis and reflects on his failed acting career in Hollywood, leading to a surprising revelation. Santa Claus goes on strike. Santa Claus and his elves go on strike, causing chaos and unrest in Springfield during the holiday season. Sam the Barfly's secret life. Sam the Barfly's seemingly mundane life is revealed to be full of surprising secrets and hidden toll.
Groundskeeper Willie's last stand. Groundskeeper Willie takes on a rival school for best field, but struggles to control his anger. Remembering Maud, the town gather to pay respects and reminisce about Maud Flanders, who was killed many years ago.
6 is great.
I do want to see a set of hilarious misunderstandings.
Doesn't even make sense. From stupid to silly.
These are just bongo. What?
They've done like 5 of them already.
Alright, that's enough of that.
For now.
Post these two. We're gonna have to stop.
Why are we running out of time? They look like some of the Quarantinos from the family tree.
Oh, chatbot.
That top middle one's great. Look at his expression.
Somebody whose back door is plastered shut. Oh, Artbot. What the hell's going on there?
I like it when you don't from that view you can sort of tell what things are. Like, oh, that's supposed to be a spade, and then when you zoom in, it's not.
It's like a half arm, half hand thing. All right, let's send you the pictures that there was. The millions of fans who are still with us an hour and a half into this Groundskeeper Willie cast will be lost, be confused.
So I've already randomly thrown in like 15 suggested Simpsons episodes from Chatbot that have nothing to do with Groundskeeper Willie. You know what that is, but I like it.
That's a hyper real Groundskeeper Willie.
It is hyper real. How many arms is that bottom? That's annoying because I've tried so many times to make it do like legs. They like 5 legs and it just won't, but it's given that bottom guy 4 arms with no prompt.
I still can't believe it. Beef, your bones just magically reform like that.
It was a miracle, Beef agreed. But I have to admit, being a skeleton has its advantages. I'm much tougher in battle now. I'm more determined than ever to protect the Salt Circle from the Dark Circle.
Parnes nodded in agreement. You're practically invincible now. Nothing can stop you.
And with Natalie's balloon and manticore powers, and your lobster claws, Parnes, we make quite the team.
It's a wonder anyone even tries to attack us with this combination of powers.
Parnes chuckled. And let's not forget Beef's encyclopedic knowledge of Simpsons characters. That's gotta be worth something.
Beef grinned. Hey, you never know when a deep understanding of Leopold or Sam Barfly might come in handy.